What's good? This is Devine. We in the studio right now, about to get this interview popping. First of all, the music industry is totally different now. You know, the A&Rs and all these dudes, they want you already pre-packaged, manufactured, boom, boom. There's no real they're not really sitting down with you and doing what an A&R really supposed to do, because everybody knows the A&R's real job is to actually take the artist and mold them. They ain't doing that now. That's done. So those days are done. The movement wise, like I consider that, because that's like the late 90s, and that's like the golden era. Everybody says golden era of hip hop. Rockefeller, Rough Riders, Murder Inc. That was just more or less like you get with the click, you get lucky, you get maybe one little single popping on iTunes or something like that. That's what they call a movement. Or somebody that's already hot that brings you along in a camp, like, you know, Drake affiliated with Lil Wayne, and that's their movement. But give you a little background history on Rough Riders. D&Y was managers to the Locks. Rough Riders was a management company. They was managing the Locks when Locks was signed to Diddy. So when Locks would do their sessions, D&Y be in the studio with Puff, you know, because of course they manage it so they can see what their artists are doing, and sitting there soaking up everything Puff is teaching them. They went from managing the Locks to starting their own label because they had X. So Rough Riders transitioned from being a management company with the Locks to actually starting their own label, and their marquee artist was DMX, and then came Drag and, you know, Eve and all of that. So, but that was the movement because it was from the ground up. You be talking a management company from two managers basically going to a multi-million-dollar label. You know, that's what you call a movement. Yo, it was a lot of dudes I paid to get signed to Rough Riders. I'm a DJ. You know, DJing since high school, mixtapes and all that. I was going by the name of Kid Chaos at the time. We used to be up on Jamaica Avenue, store called Hot Wax that everybody from Queens, and my Queens peoples know what I'm talking about all day, you know what I'm saying? Tempest, DJ Sage, Dana, Rockweiler was Dana at the time, that's his real name. We all up in there, playing tapes, playing beats up, you know, all of that, mixing it up. I befriended Cool G because he was nice with the cuts. When I used to go over to his house on Hillside Avenue, Cool G would have this MP60 sitting there, and in between us DJing, he'd be playing, yo, listen what I made this, I'm tinkering around with it, whatever. So that sparked my interest, because now, you know, I'm watching him DJ, but I'm watching him mess with this drum machine. You could say he was kind of my inspiration into getting to actually making tracks. I wound up meeting the right manager, George Rowan, who at the time was managing Royal Flush and Mike Geronimo. George also had his cousin who rhymed. His cousin who rhymed went by the name of Infrared. So what happened was Infrared wound up getting signed to Rough Riders. And that's kind of like what got me around that camp. We talking 98, 99. Eve had just come aboard. You know, Infrared's there, Sean Cross is there. They had the Rough Rider Volume 1, that they dropped that, and that was platinum, and that was the whole movement right there. Everybody, the do-rag, the bandanas and the bikes. I was at the beginning of the movement, but I wasn't signed to them. I just was around. I wound up eventually signing to D&Y because I was persistent. You know what I'm saying? Like bringing beats. D told me, yo, listen, you want to get down with us? I like what you got so far. Just keep giving me beats. You know, keep letting me hear stuff, and we'll see what we can do. And he kept his word. It took about 3 years though. So, you know, to you aspiring producers, don't get it twisted. Like, things don't happen overnight. So that was basically, you know, my foray into making the beats and getting with Rough Riders. My sound is universal now. Now I'm doing pop records, I'm doing R&B, I'm doing, you know, I mean, history repeats itself. So those beats that I was doing in the late 90s with the sampling and the filtering and all that, believe it or not, it's gonna come back. You know what I'm saying? So I still do that, but I'm just more versatile as far as just, I'm looking at the big picture now, and it's just good music, you know. So whether it's pop, whether it's keyboards, whether it's samples, just as a producer, you do everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't just lock yourself into one sound. I had to do it because that was my way of getting my shot, and it worked, obviously, you know. But now music is so universal. You got the underground movement, you got the mainstream movement, you got the snap movement. You literally can make a beat of every genre right now, and if it's hot, you actually have a chance to get those beats off, because there's so many artists doing so many different genres of hip hop, you know, that you can do whatever, really, you know. a lot of artists that I would have died to work with then, I feel like now they reached their peak already and they're on a decline. So it's kind of like you lose the. I'm not gonna throw names out there because I know the viewers want to know who you talking about. But you could just name, just think of some of the top elite rappers that was in the game that are still putting out albums now, but they not as hot as they was, let's say per se the 90s. So it's a lot of dudes that I would have loved to work with 5 years ago, you know, but now it's like I don't know. So now I'm kind of like on a new wave now, you know. I wouldn't mind doing something with, you know, like the J. Coles, the Drakes. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's certain artists I still would definitely want to do shit with. AZ, definitely. I always want to do it with AZ. AZ, Busta, believe it or not, because I think Busta's up to like his 30th album, you know what I'm saying? But Busta, I've always been a fan, and Busta, if you ever see this interview, like, you don't know how much I went through trying to submit beats to them, to you dudes for that second album he had, third album. I was submitting shit heavy for Busta, and I just never got to him. So yeah, Busta, Nas, if you know, if Nas gets back on his Nas shit, you know what I'm saying? Definitely Nas, because Nas, I don't know what's Nas doing right now. Police got him twisted some shit. He's making some crazy shit right now. But he need to get back to that. He get back to that root shit. The shit he been doing. I would love to do something with Nas, you know. But yeah, I mean, I'm more focused on R&B more than anything else right now. So Mary, definitely, I would love to do a record with Mary. A. Marie, she's so underrated. She is so fucking underrated. I love A. Marie. You know what I'm saying? So underrated. Mary, A. Marie, Faith. I'm from the 90s, man. So I love all of the 90s R&B and I love all of the 90s hip hop. So like I'm kind of stuck on that sound. So like people like Kelly Price and Mary Faith, those are the people I would really love to do stuff with, because I wanted to do stuff with them then. You know, and one thing, R&B is different from rap. Like you can keep putting out R&B albums and nobody's gonna look at you like, oh, she's too old to be still putting out albums versus a rapper. So I would definitely love to do stuff with those particular artists, you know. The love for it, cause I lost the love for it actually recently, like not too long ago. I lost it. Like I lost the love, and I strictly wanted to do it for the money, you know. And when I started really focusing on, oh, I gotta